Your favorite source for everything esports in gaming. I'm your girl Camille, your guide on this nerdy adventure. Tonight in Unmuted, we have AJ and Lisa facing off with their views about the latest stories, Twitch clips, tweets from pros, and fan creations. Then in ESPORTSIN30, AJ and Ron are talking OWL Stage 3, Week 2. But first, I need to know how I'm going to spend my money this week. Let's take a look at the latest releases in the Loadout.
Yes, yes, heed my call, monsters of Hyrule!
The grooviest Legend of Zelda game ever is finally out. Cadence of Hyrule is a rhythm roguelike developed by Brace Yourself Games as part of Nintendo's growing partnership with indie developers. If you haven't played Crypt of the Necrodancer, which you really should, Cadence of Hyrule's premise is simple. Playing as either Link or Princess Zelda, you must move around the world to the beat of the music, defeating enemies and collecting items along the way. If you maintain the beat, you get additional rewards, but if you fail, then monsters will make short work of you. The world is procedurally generated with each new save file, and dungeons will often change their layouts every time you re-enter them. Taking the best parts of Crypt of the Necrodancer, Cadence of Hyrule features reoccurring elements from the Zelda franchise, such as the Boomerang, Octoroks, and Ganon, and reimagines them to create a unique and rewarding rhythm game. There's a ton of characters to unlock and optional modes to play, including a special co-op mode. Whether you're a Zelda fan or simply someone who enjoys a good indie game, Cadence of Hyrule is for you. Originally conceived as a Kickstarter project all the way back in 2016, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night finally launches on everything but the Switch this week. Created by Koji Igarashi, best known for his work on the Castlevania series, Bloodstained is similar to that classic franchise. You play as Miriam, a young orphan who has been experimented on with demonic crystals, and must venture into Demon Castle to cure her curse and stop a demonic invasion. The game is presented in a 2.5D style, where everything is in 3D, but you can only move on a 2D plane. Even with the visual changes, it's pretty much meant to be like classic Castlevania games such as Symphony of the Night. Through her journey in the castle, Miriam will acquire new powers that will let her backtrack and unlock entirely new rooms and places she previously visited. Miriam also has access to a wide variety of different weapons, including swords, knife boots, and much more. She can also craft new weapons and armor through materials that she collects, and each item will be represented on her person when you equip it. Bloodstained Ritual of the Night has been anticipated for years, and it's underwent a lot of changes thanks to fan feedback. Will it be enough to make Bloodstained the next big Metroidvania? We'll find out soon enough. Brace yourselves, what I'm about to say next is going to really sound crazy if you have no knowledge of my friend Pedro. And even if you do have knowledge, it's gonna sound really weird. My Friend Pedro is a game where you play as a man who has to kill everything in his path because a sentient banana told him so. Described as a gun ballet, you dive through windows, kick down doors, and drive motorcycles at very high speeds while you are constantly firing guns. You can control individual aspects of your body, including each arm, enabling you to fire your guns at 2 different directions at the same time. Just look at how insane the movement is. You can also activate slow motion at any time you want, allowing you to pull off some ridiculously over-the-top kills. Just to reiterate the point, you are taking orders from a sentient banana who is likely a sociopath. Combined with a multitude of action movie cliches and more violence than you can shake a banana at, My Friend Pedro is a strong contender for being the weirdest game of the year. If you're nostalgic for kart racers whose name isn't Mario Kart, this is the week for you. Crash Team Racing Nitro Field brings the iconic Bandicoot's kart racer to the modern era with a brand new remake. The setup is simple. You drive around a bunch of crazy tracks playing as characters from the Crash franchise. You avoid obstacles, pick up items to screw over your opponents, and pray that luck is on your side. All the modes from the original return, including your standard quick races, Grand Prix, and an adventure mode that unlocks new characters, tracks, and boss battles. But Nitro Field doesn't have a new coat of paint. It also includes an online multiplayer mode as well as kart customization that lets you pimp out your ride however you want. The adventure mode I just mentioned also got a revamp, which adds new cinematics and difficulty modes. Plus, all the content from the PlayStation 2 sequel, Crash Nitro Kart, is also being brought over. There's also brand new content exclusive to Nitro Field that you can purchase using in-game currency, as well as limited time events that will only be available online. All told, Crash Team Racing Nitro Field looks to be a solid kart racer that will definitely be a great addition to the neglected kart racing genre.
Welcome to Unmuted. We got your gaming and esports hot topics, hot tweets, and the spiciest memes. I'm Lisa Dwan.
And I'm Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, you wish.
We're going to present, no, definitely not, all the goodies that we've gathered, which we will discuss and most likely argue. But lucky for all of us, we've got a mute button right here, which either one of us can press just once to mute the other for a full 30 seconds.
That's right, just one time. Remember, we like it when you call us out when we're wrong and praise us when we're spitting truth. So let's get right to it. For our first story, we're going to take a look at what may be an end to the latest Dota 2 controversy. OG published a statement yesterday saying that one of its players, Seb, will be donating all of his earnings from the upcoming Epicenter Major and 1 month's salary to charity. Why forfeit the money? Well, Seb made discriminatory comments against Russians in a game last month, which prompted Virtus Pro Solo to call on Valve and OG to punish Seb for clear rule violations. OG will also work with VP to try and propose something that will improve the Dota environment as a whole. Okay, AJ, do you think this punishment is enough for the crime that he committed?
I mean, I think it's a good start.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not exactly sure what his terrible comments were.
Yeah, I remember he said stuff like a Russian, this is his words by the way, a Russian would sell their mother for like points in the game, like experience in the game.
Okay.
It's just like bad stereotypes, and obviously as a pro you shouldn't be saying stuff like that against a race too, you know, or
or a country, ethnic
yeah.
identity, or anything along those lines. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it fits the crime, I suppose, but yeah, it should be really more about like making amends and trying to do things to better the community.
Exactly.
For sure, set better examples. This is actually something I've been thinking about doing a lot myself, like trying to
saying
create
racist comments.
No, trying to create I mean, it's not a charity, but an organization that would be about bettering and counteracting the toxicity that is so prevalent within gaming.
So
I think it's an important thing.
I
don't know. That's what I've been trying to figure out lately. You know, how do you
So it's very preliminary planning.
Preliminary thoughts of like there should be a thing, but it's not quite a charity because what do you do with the money? You know, like, it's more about like gathering people together and raising awareness for the issue of toxicity within the gaming community and figuring out a way that we can work to eliminate it.
I actually really like this idea because it's more about, you know, we don't want to just punish someone and like push them to the side and forget about them, right? This is kind of more making a statement like, listen, this player messed up. Let's teach him the right way and let him keep playing, but have him spread his message now, so other players too can learn from this experience, right? So like that's just
as an opportunity to teach and
exactly.
to learn, and hopefully the charity is a Russian-based charity.
That's a good point. You didn't mention.
I'm sure there are charities in Russia. All right, shall we move on?
Yeah, I think we should move on.
Sometimes us casters miss details and make mistakes. We don't like to bring ours up, so let's talk about two other folks. Two CSGO casters. They missed an entire round. It happened at Moche XL over the weekend when Kieran Cullinan and Ted Seard missed an entire round of Furia versus Gamer Legion. The duo was so caught up in analyzing the previous round, and the production crew was so focused on the crowd, that by the time they noticed the game was back on, the round was nearly over. So Lisa, what do you think of this mistake? Is this going to ruin their careers or maybe boost it because now they've done something that's worth talking about?
I mean, that's fair. There's no such thing as bad publicity, right? But I don't think this is his fault or their fault at all. Like, they were busy doing their job casting, and this is more on the production side where they messed up behind. Like, they need to be on track with this. I don't know if they need a producer or something, because you know we know some producers.
This is what I was about to say. I mean, the term for the people at the desk in the business is talent, but quite honestly, it's a misnomer. We don't have much of that. We have the people in our ears who help us. They communicate to us covertly.
That's television secret.
Oh no! Spitting some truth.
Oh no!
F's in the chat.
We don't just film this all ourselves, guys. Somehow. This is it.
But yeah, it should be the people in their ear say like, "Hey, game's on. Shut up. Stop talking about the old one. Tell us what's happening on the screen right now."
Exactly.
So it seems like everyone was asleep at the wheel there, and they just bear the brunt of it because they're the people who are on camera.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate for them because this is really not their fault. But this kind of brings to attention, like, esports tournaments, are they still kind of lacking in production? Like, what's going on? CSGO has been established for a long time now, but maybe this is like, I think it was an event, correct me if I'm wrong, in Portugal. So maybe the scene isn't as developed, but that just brings light that we need more production. We need more people in esports that aren't just players and teams. We need production people.
But you know what? Mistakes happen all over the place. You know, you can go to any professional studio in any country and there will be moments where they cut to the wrong thing for a moment. One of my friends is an editor on a big national morning show, and he told me like we ran the wrong B-roll, and what ended up on TV was very, very wrong. So these things can happen. It's not just relegated to esports, and I don't think they should worry too much about it.
You like to pretend you're perfect, but have you ever made a big boo-boo on set?
I mean, all kinds of them. Fortunately, they were not live.
Okay. All right, let's move on. In League of Legends news, a new report states that the LCK will only get 2 seeds in the group stage at the 2019 World Championship. The third team will have to fight its way through the play-in stage, which a Korean team has never done before. The LCK has traditionally had 3 seeds in the group stage thanks to its dominance in the game, but recent results have caused China, Europe, and North America to push Korean teams out of the spotlight. AJ, do you think this is a good change? This is kind of big for esports. Like, Korea has always been the top dog, especially in League.
Of course.
So this is kind of a big deal.
I don't think anyone could argue that it is not a good thing. I mean, Koreans probably.
Yeah, they're probably not happy about this.
But, you know, why not make it more difficult if that's the way that the league is shaking out right now? Give more opportunity to the teams that deserve it, who have been competing at high standard. Make this more competitive. That's what we ultimately want to see. The best teams rise to the top no matter which region they are from, obviously having a fair entry for each region. So I'm happy about this. I don't see why you could be.
I agree. I'm super happy about this because Korea has been dominant for so many years, but the last like couple of years they've been much weaker in league. So this is really going to set that fire under their butt, and hopefully we're going to see hopefully more talent come out of Korea, new talent, and have them fight and get their way to the top. Like before, they were kind of almost entitled in a sense. They were given this, but now we want the new rookies to actually fight for it. Talk about Griffin, by the way.
You're right. But I mean, that's the way it was, and that's the way it is now. And these things could change. We could see in another few years going back to them having their 3 guaranteed spots. You never know.
True.
It's depending upon how things are playing out otherwise.
I'm waiting for the day where North America gets the 3 spots automatically, because North America doesn't have a really good track record in esports.
Yeah, you might be waiting a long time.
Wow, where's the faith, AJ?
What? I'm just saying.
Wait, do you have a favorite esports team? I'm curious. I don't think I've ever asked you that before.
A favorite esports team?
Where's your allegiance?
Toronto Defiant. Watch ESPORTSIN30 later.
And how they're doing, huh? That's right.
All right, for our last story, Dignitas has a brand new sponsor. But wait. It's a betting platform called Vi.gg. There has long been a concern in esports communities that betting and gambling sites shouldn't sponsor esports teams due to, well, the connotations with match fixing. Vi.gg will sponsor Dignitas's Rocket League, Super Smash Bros, and female CSGO teams. Lisa, is this wrong? Should betting and gambling websites and entities sponsor esports teams, or should we just make that a hard rule? No.
I'm kind of torn. I can kind of see both sides on this one, because on one hand, I think
you are a chronic gambler and you want all the attention.
I've won a couple scratch cards a couple of times, but I'm actually horrible at gambling. I'm the kind of person that doesn't know where to stop, so I guess maybe this is kind of good for me.
Right.
No, I think betting websites, they got the money, and I don't really see an issue them giving money to teams and supporting teams financially as long as they don't match fix. But that's kind of an assumption that you kind of have to assume that like these people aren't going to just do crimes in match fixing,
that's
right?
That's the thing. Like, match fixing is such a simple thing that can take place between 2 people. If you've got a big sponsor of your team who's already given you and your players a lot of money, and he just like walks up to you a few minutes before your match and shakes your hand and looks you in the eye and says, "You're not looking so hot tonight." Like, that's all the communication.
That's so mean.
Well, I don't mean that to you right now. I mean, you look great. I just mean, like, if you're a player, you're a young kid, you're 20-something, and someone who has given you a whole lot of money is holding your hand and looking you in the eye in an intimidating way and telling you, without using words that are overt, but subtly telling you to throw the game.
Okay.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, but this is kind of like a side topic, because this is about a betting website sponsoring a team, right? Obviously, match fixing is very tempting for players, but for the organization to like sponsor a team, I think they don't care who wins in a match as long as there is betting involved, right? Like, they just want people to play.
Yeah, but I mean, the people who are connected at the top are going to know which outcomes are going to produce the best results for their own organization, the betting website itself.
Yeah.
So they're going to have that influence. They're going to know that and be able to put that power to use. And it's on their shoulders not to do that. So it is gray area here. I think that it really should be a hard rule that gambling websites shouldn't even be like in contact with your top stars and your players, at least within a few days of a big event.
I don't know. I kind of want to believe the fact that esports players and teams, they want to just win, and money is not going to tempt them to think otherwise. That's whatever. That's my stance.
Yeah, you got a very optimistic view.
I
can appreciate that. I just disagree fundamentally.
That's fair. But it's time to check in with streamers in Clip It. First up, this is how Katarina reacted when chat told her to cover her shoulders.
God, dear God, I am very sorry for being so scandalous as to show my shoulders on the internet. I am very sorry. I showed my shoulders before marriage, which is a sin.
Ooh, are you guys gonna ban me right now? Oh,
Wow,
no.
you're just sinning hardcore over there.
I
Lisa
know, I'm
Dewan.
basically naked. What's going on here? This is actually, I love her take on that because
Yeah.
she's obviously like satirically making fun of the fact that
Yeah.
people are criticizing her for showing her shoulders. Hello?
Yeah.
What's so okay, I'm not gonna go there. What's so sexual about shoulders and feet and I guess all this other stuff? But the point is, you know what, I'm gonna keep it simple, I'm not gonna rant, but the point is a woman's body or anyone's body is up to them, how
Yeah.
they want to show it or handle it. No one should be able to tell you what to do. Imagine if I were to tell you guys, or AJ, your wrists are very sexual and you shouldn't be showing it. Like, how do you feel about that?
Actually, really weird because I've always thought I had like dainty wrists, and I was always
Exactly.
ashamed of them. So
They're
you really
ashamed
just
of them.
boosted my confidence
Or-
now. Thank you.
But the point is just like an arbitrary like body part,
No,
right? Like
yeah.
your elbows. You can't show your elbows. It's just, we should not be telling people how to show their bodies.
Especially like on Twitch, it's a weird thing when people show up in your Twitch chat and start making comments about you, and you're like, you've hardly said hello to me at this point. You just like imagine walking into a restaurant, just going up to someone's table
Yeah.
and saying, hey, that shirt you're wearing kind of makes you look dumpy, or like
Yeah.
whatever comment.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't ask for this. Yes, I'm on stream and you can come in and engage in conversation, but conversation is different than like dictation or
Yeah.
commentary on how you present
But
as
I
a
think
person.
that's the danger of Twitch, right? Because when you're streaming and you're asking for donations or support, people all of a sudden feel entitled to tell you what to do.
Fair. That's why I don't ask for donations or support. You can, but you're never going to hear me asking
Yeah,
for
because
it.
then they all of a sudden feel like you owe them something. You want my
Right.
money? Well, you're gonna do this for me. Dance, monkey,
Oh, yeah.
dance.
I've had
It's
those
like,
weird things too, like do this and I'll donate something. I'm like, you don't have to. I'm fine.
yeah, it's all about you want to support your streamers and your content producers because you like their content,
Yeah.
not because you want to tell them what to do. Okay, this isn't the medieval age.
Some people do want to tell them what
Well,
to do.
get
That's
out
how
of
some
here.
people
Okay,
get
I'm
their
gonna show my
jollies.
shoulders all I want.
They look great. Next up, during an IRL stream, Nim took an opportunity to imitate Dr. Disrespect.
Yeah. Is it an actual bathroom?
It's an actual bathroom.
Raul Gillette,
No.
the best a man can get. Click, click, click. Raul. Oh God, I just got banned.
No, we're going to the garage. Oh, shit. Come
Well, it's been nice knowing you guys. Delete the VOD.
Delete the bot. That's
So,
good.
how long do we suspect these Dr. Disrespect memes are gonna hang around? They're fairly low-hanging fruit right now.
You know where you can find a lot of low-hanging fruit?
Where?
The bathroom.
Yeah.
So the jokes will continue. I mean, I think it's deserved. First of all, he's a personality on Twitch. If you put yourself
One of
out
the biggest.
that way, you're gonna get memed and made
Yeah.
fun of, and especially when you mess up like that.
Well, he's already making fun of himself. I know he like tweeted out some new emotes that may arrive on his channel when he gets back, and they are the emote of just like the doc's face appearing above the bathroom door.
Then how is this not a
It's like-
confirmation that it's a conspiracy? He planned this.
Well, it seems like he doesn't even care. Like he's just laughing about it himself, and like he isn't taking it as seriously as he should. Of course, he did post that apology video, but like. That's all it takes now to get over a scandal online is a I'm so sorry video, and then
Yeah.
you're back a few days later and still
Like,
making
how
all the
far
money.
does he have to take it before he gets, like the people aren't behind him anymore? It's not funny anymore. He literally went into a bathroom and was streaming in there. How is that okay?
I don't know.
I mean, if there was someone maybe naked, he caught someone actually, then that probably would have been it. But I don't know. Streaming is so dangerous. Twitch IRL is so dangerous because we're not drawing lines anywhere, at least
No.
not at the moment. And I think we have to start.
In the
drawing those
years
lines.
to come, there will just be no more privacy when you're out in public. I mean, obviously we thought of that, but no more privacy from recorded or,
Yeah.
or having the potential for your image being broadcast to a grander audience. You're just gonna have to expect the danger of that.
That's
and
kind
just-
of what I expect. When I go out, I don't assume that I have any sense of privacy. Even with my phone, if the government's watching and looking at it, go ahead. Like I'm already expecting it.
Yeah.
So all the weird stuff that I post is for you guys that I
Avoid
have on my phone.
showing your shoulders to the government. They don't
True.
appreciate it.
True. All right, it's time of the day again where we scan through Twitter and bring you the very best tweets from all your favorite pros. Welcome to Profound Thoughts. Our first tweet is from Smashcaster Rodney Conyers with some wholesome fan mail. He shares this. I love getting fan mail. Heart face. The message says, bitch. Oh, that's so sweet.
I meant it in an endearing way when I sent that text, you
As
know?
if AJ
Right?
sent
No, I
that.
didn't.
He's the nicest guy. But I want to know, what was the least nice message you ever got? What's the biggest hate mail?
you know, I've had like odd, just mean-spirited ones.
Also, you got my messages.
Yeah, exactly. Don't appreciate those, Lisa. But I have had some like weird ones in the past. Like someone requested my used pairs of shoes.
Shoes?
Yeah, like the first message was like just a general inquiry thing, and I replied kindly. And then like the next message was like, I noticed you wear black Vans on the show frequently. When you're done with your black Vans, could you please mail me your black Vans? And
What do you think he's going to do with them, AJ?
I don't want to imagine what he's going to do with them, but ultimately I did not send this individual my shoes. What about you, Lisa?
I mean,
different question for women entirely, huh?
Well, okay, we're talking about like hate mail. I'm not talking about the weird sexual things because, you know, those come up every once in a while.
Right.
But in terms of hate mail, hey, I've done interviews where people are literally like, this girl doesn't know what the hell she's talking about, or she's so dumb. Does she even know the game? Or the best one is like, literally after this interview, they effed. I'm like, what? They just assume.
I've seen that posted on a lot of things where it's women interviewing like esports stars or even sports stars, and it's like,
Yeah,
what?
it's called chemistry. It's just, you know, when you're a person that socializes, you have good chemistry with people. Like,
Well, the people who post those comments don't
No, they don't
that,
get it.
though.
They don't get
Yeah,
it.
they
Wait,
don't-
you can talk to people like this?
Yeah, they just assume that if they ever get face to face with someone of the opposite sex, that they
Sexual
will
tension.
have sex afterwards.
What do you think we're
But
gonna do
they-
after this show, guys? Go home and play games.
Yeah, probably. Our next tweet hails from League of Legends ex-pro Scara with some heartbreaking reality. The tweet says, I remember when I was younger, E3 and BlizzCon were my goals to go to one day in my life. Both feel like shallow versions of their earlier selves, and that makes me a very sad man.
Oh, boo-hoo.
I mean, I haven't been to BlizzCon yet myself, but I
Okay.
just went to my 8th E3. And this one was a bit of a weird one with Xbox not being on the show
Right, you
floor and Sony
mentioned.
PlayStation not being there as well. And it felt like there were way less opportunities to actually go and play games. The one time that I had the time to actually go and play some games. Mind you, I was trying to do networking, meet people and stuff. But even still, there were like no moments where I was walking past something and thought like, oh, I can stop for a moment and play that game because there's a demo set up there. There was just way more lines, way fewer opportunities
This is
there.
the most entitled argument or discussion we're ever having here. Oh, the C3 out of all the 8 ones are so bad compared to the other ones. You know, there's people who've never been to E3. You know, there's people who've never been to LA. You know, there's people who haven't even had a chance to do any of that. And here you guys are being all like, it sucked. It was only like a little bit worse than last year's. Get over yourself, Scara. AJ's alright. Don't even mute me. I'm fair in what I'm saying. You know what? Everything can't be great forever. Every E3 is not going to top the last E3. Deal
That's
with
true.
it. We
It'll
had
probably-
Keanu this year.
Yeah, we
What
did
more do you
have
want?
Keanu. We walked out on stage. That was a cool moment.
Right?
Yeah,
All
sure.
right. Let's end our day with some Pog chants because this next tweet is totally Pogs. I'm not sure what Courage and Ariana Grande has going on, but I wish someone would write a song for me too. This tweet says, hey Ariana Grande, I wrote this for you. No idea what Jordan Fisher is doing here.
Good.
That was so
It's a
beautiful.
good bit. I like that one.
That-
It was beautiful, but it was clever.
It was clever. I love the emotion he had while he was pretending to play.
And you were telling me this guy does have like big feels for Ariana Grande and actually got to meet her? What
Oh,
happened?
100%. If you guys haven't followed the Courage, Ariana Grande, Nate Shaw drama, it's like this guy has been tweeting about her forever. And then because Scooter Braun actually sponsors Honor Thieves, they finally got the chance to meet only for Nate Shaw to stand in between them for the photo. So Nate Shaw, not a bro. Not a bro. But it's really cute to see how Courage continuously is just fanboying over her. And I want to know, AJ, was there ever a pop star or someone that you fangirled or boyed over like that?
Ooh.
Who was your crush growing up? Everyone had one.
Crush growing up?
Yeah.
I don't. You know what? Actually, I do remember
Oh my God.
the movie
so
Wizards, like about Fred Savage and his like younger brother trying to go to like the Super Nintendo showdown in California, and there was like a redhead girl.
Everyone in the control room was like, Fred Savage? Like,
Yeah,
what?
remember he was in a movie about like Nintendo, and there's the moment where the kid shows off the power glove, and he's like, it's so badass. Chat knows what I'm talking about, and there was like a young redhead girl in that movie.
Okay, that's where we're going.
Oh, it's called Wizard. Sorry, I thought it was called Wizards. There was an
Oh.
animated movie called Wizards that we also used to watch. That's another story.
Animated.
Never mind that one. But
Waifu.
Wizard with Fred Savage. It's live action, and the girl in that, I guess I had a
You don't
crush
even
on
know
her.
her
I don't
name.
remember what her name was, but
Oh my
that
God.
was my childhood, I guess, kid crush. I got many of them now, but let's not go down that rabbit hole. We're moving on. It's time to get to some crowd control. We want to kick it off with something a little scary. Have you ever wondered what Yoshi would sound like Slow down. I haven't, but Sir Kickass66 did.
I did not expect.
Ring-ha.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You got the perfect amount of creepy in that one.
Yeah, that's a little bit of nightmare fuel right there.
Yeah, I like the picture actually better than the audio sound.
Yeah.
That picture was definitely going to give me nightmares.
I kind of want to see Nintendo develop a game featuring that Yoshi.
No!
I'm Yoshi. Hi.
Just so you can imitate him like that. I can't do it. It's not loud enough. All right. Reddit user Vobra X takes Morpheus's question from The Matrix one step further. Oh, okay. After this, there is no turning back. You can take the blue or the red. Oh my God, AJ, which one would you pick, or did you pick? I guess because it's
Yellow.
You can't choose an option. AJ, play the game.
I don't know. I'm looking forward to Sword and Shield instead. I don't know what colored boxes they come in.
Are you more of a shield person or a sword person?
Probably sword.
Same. I feel like I'm a very aggressive person as well.
Yeah,
I don't know who's
I'd
gonna
be
pick
more
shield. If you pick shield, you're
aggro
loser.
than defense in that respect.
Ew.
But good meme right there. Our last post comes to us from Dab88 on YouTube and features one of his amazing Just Cause 3 stunts. Have a look.
Okay.
Vroom vroom.
Nice car though.
Yeah. Just driving through the mountainside. What do you think?
hate
It's gonna
driving games. It makes me
jump
angry.
over something and explode? Nope. He's gonna
Wait!
climb out on the hood.
Wait, where is he going? Wait, it's a surfboard?
He is car surfing with a grapple, and not just one or two,
Okay.
but
Wait a second.
under 3 different
I'm starting to feel like this
cliff
isn't a very
faces.
realistic game.
Just Cause 3? You're just learning that now.
Oh no, the car!
But he lands it. He sticks the landing on the platform.
Yeah.
If only you could do that in real life and avoid this Toronto traffic.
Yo, now that's an idea. Okay, Toronto traffic's not that bad. Relax. Once again, people don't understand that we have it much better than other people. But
Okay.
yeah, I agree. That's an interesting move right there.
That was a fantastic highlight right there.
Was it?
I gotta go check out more
I'm
from
surprised
that
you didn't
guy's
dab when you said his name. It was like Dab
Right.
66. Okay, we had to dab right there. But that's it for Unmuted. Remember, you can always hit us up on all our socials at Squad State just to say hi or send us stuff to react to. We'll see you next time.
There's no copyright there. I thought of it. It's my original idea.
No, I don't think it is.
It's my original. Marketing expert right there. Yeah, exactly.
My kid will leave the Lord and Savior alone.
Why would your kids do that?
Jesus is really. I have an established science background. You'll remember.
This is the winner. I don't even want to bet. Remember, if you can, you could show your love to the Green Room and the whole squad by subscribing, and we'll give you sick emotes in return. You can see in the back, AJ and Ron are getting ready to talk OWL in Esports in 30. But first, let me get you caught up on the top stories in Reported. Luminosity's gaming looks like it's going all in on Fortnite after it signed 4 new content creators to its team. The Canadian org has signed Random, Kiwiz, Formula, and Nyx to the squad, where they will play and stream Fortnite with each other and with other LG streamers. And Luminosity isn't just signing the players, it's giving them a new home. Literally. The org showcased its brand new Fortnite gaming house with the newly signed players who will live and stream with each other under one roof. Welcome to the team, boys, and try not to burn the house down, okay? In the Overwatch League, Florida Mayhem Season 2 has been stormy to say the least, but the newest acquisition might be what's needed to stop the downpour of losses. The team added former O2 Blast support Rain to its roster yesterday. He'll likely serve as a substitute for starting support Chris, beginning with Week 3 of Stage 3. It's the latest in string of changes for the Mayhem this season, who made it clear that it would be changing to an all-Korean roster after a very bad start to Season 2. The team has only won a single match in the entire season and is sitting comfortably in last place. And at this point, any change is looking like it'll be good for Mayhem in the long run. The LEC is heading to Greece for the first time ever late this summer. Riot Games announced that the 2019 LEC Summer Split will be held in Athens, Greece from September 7th to the 8th. Details on the venue and ticketing has not been announced yet. Riot is also partnering with Nestle's Lion cereals brand for the event, who will likely create unique activations and content in both the lead up for the finals and at the venue itself. Going to Greece is great, but I hope Riot uses this opportunity to unveil the rework for Pantheon on stage. It's been nearly 2 months since Mortal Kombat 11 launched, and today it is finally getting a ranked mode. Called the Combat League, it will be a seasonal ranked mode that will be updated on 4-week cycles. Players will compete across 9 different rank tiers, and the higher you advance, the more in-game items and rewards you'll earn. What's more, matchmaking will be optimized so that you can see the specific chance you have of winning a certain match. Look, I already know I'm not great at the game, but do you have to tell me I have no chance of winning? In any case, the Mortal Kombat League is a free update available to all players, so what are you waiting for? Start fighting.
Like they knew closer at Sound Barrier. They're coming in again. I mean, Note got his mech back just in time, and now Jinmu on the Doomfist, another one of his signature heroes, goes in. Nice hit on the closer. That's a rocket punch. You wanted an uppercut to AKM. Jinmu, if you weren't on the Moo crew now, you will be after this round. Oh! Gets Unko. That's point B. But this is the Outlaws' day. Overtime just barely activated as the Shock have one last scrambling chance to keep themselves alive in this series. Super not gonna last too long. Violet down as well. It's all falling apart. Had to end sometime. The win streak is over. The Houston Outlaws defeat the San Francisco Shock.
Well, hello, fellow Overwatch fans. Welcome to Esports in 30. I'm AJ Fry, back from E3, a little exhausted, a little out of my mind. We're going to have some fun talking all things Overwatch League. To my left here, the always dependable Ron and Thera Lee. Did you miss me, Ron, and my butchering of your name? I figured it out.
I did. You know, for as much crap as I give you on this desk, I was really, really worried you'd find an esport you liked more at E3 and wouldn't come back here. So
they don't really have esports at E3. It's mostly just like, here's our new game, here's our new system.
Yet. For Honor, Ghostwire. We don't know much about a lot of those titles, but we're not here to talk about those today, are we?
No, it's Overwatch, and that's what we got for you. No sick burn before we go?
No, I think we're going to stay nice. I'm glad you're back and you're not sick.
Oh, well, thank you. That's so kind.
I'll save it for the end.
All right. Wow. I don't know how to pivot now. Ron is being nice to me. Here's some Stage 3 highlights.
Didn't seem like they knew closer at Sound Barrier. They're coming in again. I mean, Note got his mech back just in time, and now Jinmu on the Doomfist, another one of his signature heroes, goes in. Nice hit on the closer. That's a rocket punch. You wanted an uppercut to AKM. Jinmu, if you weren't on the Moo crew now, you will be after this round. Oh! Gets Unko. That's point B. Locator lands face down, and she would just kind of like get. Oh, what a sleep.
Wow!
Jinmu. Oh, they cannot keep alive after that. Unko.
Oh, he's not going to be able to do it. Does he get? No, he does survive just the final. His jumps on such short cooldown. No worries there. Mono, will he get the deny? Oh, buddy! Stylish play.
So Spark getting aggressive here. Can they get the kills out of it though? Ground gets used by Corey as well. Sans himself to beautiful boot. Amazing boot comes in. Papa has the barrage and he goes for it. And triple kill instantly. Make it 5 really. No supports here. War to launcher defiant. Charge coming up from Yacht Club. Will be able to take down Mendoza. Turns around. He gets a shatter. Welcome back. Club. Oh man, welcome back indeed. Might have just single-handedly turned that one around, and he has.
Or getting hit with a big biotic.
Sound barrier here. Gonna go a long way for the Philly fusion with Poco. Oh, Bahzang! Oh, he drops it. Fun 3.
So now he's going to be vulnerable. Sound barrier has gone down here for Paris, but still they remove Mono from the mix. If they can get a follow-up here, so much damage getting cranked out onto Paris, but the Blizzard may make all the difference.
An enormous Blizzard at the end.
Also helps you build up back towards your shadow. So here's going to be the rally. It's going to be
grab that comes down right away. No follow-up, to live through this. Maybe the shot force more ultimate down.
I mean, the shot didn't have to use a transcendence when they were grabbed. That's a huge win for them. Now a sound barrier from the Soul Dynasty. They're trying to get aggressive behind the support of. It doesn't look good. And the Vibe Strike comes through from Super. Then he just puts the shield up. It's another day in the office.
Not willing to count the Gladiator out just yet. Not at all. I mean, it's the complete opposite. It's 3-1 in terms of kills right now for the Washington Justice. They are the ones who are locking it down, and Sleepy's on a tear. Finally, somebody removes this guy, but the Justice. Farface coming in. There it is. Nano Blade.
So they only get Blase fusions, and Kelix is still able to get an Immortality field out there, but there's plenty of Dragon Blade left to go around.
The Shock, but this is the Outlaws' day. Overtime just barely activated as the Shock have one last scrambling chance to keep themselves alive in this series. Super not going to last too long. Violet down as well. It's all falling apart. Had to end sometime. The win streak is over. The Houston Outlaws defeat the San Francisco Shock.
Well, week 2 is in the books, and it had some surprising results. I mean, San Francisco losing their first series since stage 1 to the Outlaws, no less.
Yeah,
but before we get into all the exciting matches, let's talk broad strokes here for a second, Ron.
Sure.
What is the theme that we are seeing presented here in the first couple of weeks of this exciting stage 3?
I think stage 3, given that, you know, this is do or die time for a lot of these teams if they want to make it to the season playoffs, the big theme is reinvention, you know, self-discovery, rediscovery, so to speak.
We have seen a lot of teams like shaking up their lineups. Obviously,
their lineups.
Toronto is one of those teams now going like mixed roster there. But what do you mean? Is it just like roster mix-up? Is it like team composition focus changes? Is it reconsidering, I don't know, attack patterns?
So a lot of Koreans.
What the hell does that mean?
A lot of the Korean teams talk about something called team color, which might be kind of a foreign term if you're not in the know.
Team color or
team
color?
Color.
Okay.
So what that means is kind of like, you know, every team has their identity that they would like to stick to, regardless of what roster they have. They have a style that they really want to cater to. Even if you're playing the same composition across teams, we've seen more aggressive goats. We've seen more defensive goats, more reactive goats. We've seen Sombra goats. We've seen DPS play. So it's not so much strictly the composition, but how you want to cater your style and kind of your tendencies to match your composition. So a big theme this week, obviously talking about Houston Outlaws, is we've seen, like, for example, they were super lost after coming out of Season 1. Coming into Season 2 with all these new teams and stuff and a brand new meta, not being able to rely on Jake and stuff on DPS to shot call, you had them kind of lost in the sauce for a while. And I think this weekend, or maybe even last weekend, they were able to look at themselves in the mirror and kind of wipe away the glass and realize, you know, this is who I really am.
A DPS team.
Yeah, a DPS. It turns out, like Monte Cristo said.
Well, I was going to go there next. I mean, there was this big battle online. Monte Cristo, I should say, directing his, well, not anger, but his sentiments, I should say, at Flame, and saying, like, see, I told you so. I've been saying you guys should just run the DPS, do what you're good at, and ultimately it paid off, taking down, well, the winners of Stage 2, the second-ranked team in the league, the San Francisco Shock. Is this something that we're going to see more of, or are they just going to stick to DPS now?
I think it's good to look at this like, you know, now we know that last week the Houston Outlaws didn't win, or have a near victory, I should say, against NYXL, right? They went all the way down to the wire, and people were like, oh, this was a one-off, but actually toppling San Francisco Shock, who arguably, I know they're second in standings, like you said, is maybe the best team.
Well, they did defeat the Titans ultimately to win
in stage 2. So we can't just shrug this off anymore. We have to say that Houston are doing something right. And it turns out the thing that they changed are they're doing two big things. They're implementing more Sombra into the play, like a lot of teams are, and they are letting their DPS players play DPS. We've seen them play a lot of Pharah. We've seen them play Doomfist. Actually, Linkster playing Doomfist is not a hero he's ever played. He said straight up, I've never played Doomfist. And this whole thing kind of sprouted out from them in a scrim on Eichenwald, where they're like, oh, we're just being crushed. And they've had this collective moment where they're like, you know what? As much as we don't like to say Monty is right, he often is. And for us to compete, we're just, there's so much we don't know, and so many teams are so drilled on this. We have to hit them with a curveball, and I think that's what they should have done from the beginning. They could have done this 3 weeks ago, but they're only starting to realize it now, and they're running out of time.
Well, let's go back to Monte Cristo for a second. I'm saying calling
Monte Cristo.
Yeah, Christo. Guys, E3 was a lot. The words aren't formulated right in the old noggin up here. Monte Cristo, of course. I'm still saying it wrong. But should casters be making these kind of comments, at least in this? I mean, there's obviously the stuff that's going to come offhand when you're doing this, ad-libbing as your thoughts are coming to you.
Right.
But it seems like he was more pointed about this whole idea, especially with regards to the Outlaws. And should they be this invested? Should they be engaging the coaches in this respect? You are a coach yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think this rapport on social media is good to build a fan base, both for the team and for the casters, as long as it's healthy and you know, it's all in good fun. But I do think that both Flame and Monte Cristo have gotten a little bit more personal than a lot of fans would like. I think Monte Cristo, in general, is kind of a polarizing figure. You know, he's very prideful. I think I can say that. You know, he takes pride in kind of spewing the truth and being brutally honest if he has to be, even if it comes to the expense of, you know, a certain team's reputation, because he sees it like, oh, they're pro teams, right? Their jobs are to succeed and to play and to win. If you aren't doing that, we have all the right to criticize you. To which Flame is saying, well, that's not really good for a fan to do. You know, if you really want to support us, you should kind of spread positivity and stuff. But
can Monte Cristo be so like focused on one team? Like his job is to be analysis.
Pretty objective, I think.
For everyone, right?
Yeah, I mean, he slandered teams all over social media prior in his careers and like League of Legends and stuff. So he's no stranger to kind of being put in the flames, so to speak, and kind of fanning them one way or another. So I mean, I like it personally. I think if you're the general manager of a losing team, much less professional is going onto a stream and like losing your mind for an hour and a half over something a caster says. It's your job to take care of your players and know what's best for them. If comments of one particular person really get to you that much, you should reevaluate.
So, Bishop, just let it go, man. This beef between us, just move on, Bishop.
It was just one drink. It really was. It's not a big deal.
Let's talk about the Shock very briefly now, coming off this loss to the Houston Outlaws. How is that going to be affecting them? I mean, they're coming into this stage so strong, the winners of the last stage. Are they reconsidering how they approach practicing moving forward? It seems like they have perfected GOATs, obviously, but now...
They're perfect GOATs.
The perfect GOATs. But now they're finding, oh, we're weak to this approach with the Pharah and Doomfist in there. So, like, are they going to be reconsidering their playstyle, or are they going to stick to what they know going up against all other teams?
I think that's an amazing question, because so we're going to talk about the World Cup a little later, but San Francisco Shock head coach Krusty, you know, I've worked with him briefly. He's big brain. He's really, really smart, really, really diligent, and I don't think they are particularly weak to DPS. At least they won't be for long with him at the helm. I do think this was kind of a one-off thing, and I trust them to rectify their plans to accommodate for the possibility. I think especially after how vocal Houston Outlaws were, you know, Flame, their general manager, talking about, oh, we're not going to play DPS. If you want to win at GOATs, GOATs is the best comp. You have to perfect GOATs. They might have been assuming after the month break that they're probably just going to follow that philosophy. It might have been a bait and switch for Houston, even, like if you're going to dig into a conspiracy theory, right? And it worked out for them. But I certainly don't think this signals anything too worrying for San Fran.
Well, I mean, they did ultimately crush Seoul like a few days
later.
So
a few days later. They're like, oh, it was a one-off. You know, we were complacent. We just got to shrug it off. We have to stay hungry, and they will.
Vancouver staying strong. Their only loss so far, that final match in the Stage 2 playoffs. And they are the first team to reach plus 50 map differential.
Of this season,
Yeah, even faster than NYXL did last season. Are they still the best in the league? I mean, I said it.
Are they really, really? Of course they are. Of course they are. I mean, that's just a joke. Titans are so good. They're incredible. I mean, if you had any doubts for a moment, looking at a plus 50 map differential, like only in Stage 3, is absolutely incredible. It really tells a story of how dominant they were season-wide.
They would need to start losing at a rapid pace.
They have to 0-4 constantly to
#1 seeding for the season playoffs.
They have a miles worth of leeway here to prepare, and even if they drop some maps, you know, let's say they wanted to prepare for perhaps an incoming DPS meta or something.
Yeah.
They had total room to kind of goof off a little bit and experiment even.
Right.
Like they
Do you
are
think
so
we'll
far
actually
ahead.
see them doing that, or are they just going to keep playing to, you know, maintain that perfect season record?
I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, Runaway, when they were still a team competing in Contenders Korea, they played a ton of DPS, and their DPS play was stellar. So even though they're so dominant in GOATs now, if they were to switch to a DPS meta, I actually think they'd be one of the least teams affected by a big change like that.
Well, let's talk Gladiators then, another team that is sitting at the top, but not quite in the top. They're consistently good against the weaker teams and consistently bad against the top teams.
Yeah.
Is there anything that these guys can do in order to switch that around and actually start, you know, being a threat to the Shock and Titans and NYXL?
Yeah, that's kind of difficult, right? Because on one hand, they do kind of seem to have a winning formula. They are probably the most consistent team in the league. Their players across the board are super consistent in Surefour and Decay and Void and Big Goose. All of them are super good at their jobs and are in contention for a top 5 in their roles.
Right.
But that's just about it, right? None of them really have the oomph or kind of the special sauce to push through and break top 3. It's kind of sad because I like the Gladiators, right? But they're almost boring to play, or to watch play, I mean, because all the results are so predictable.
Right.
They will play a team underneath them in standings and win, or they'll play a team above them in standings and lose. And it's just very rarely that Gladiators upset anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
so what do? Do you want to like change your players and change this magic formula you have and, you know, get some new blood in to push for top 3, but potentially ruin all the synergy you've built to beat consistently the weaker teams? That's a question for Deepay that he's, you know, their head coach, that he's even entertained on social media. He's created a twitlonger talking about, listen, we know that we've made stage playoffs a ton. We've never made it all the way through.
Right.
So there's something missing, and it's something special that we don't have, but we're looking into it.
Maybe they'll start like merchandising for the Gladiators that is a secret or special sauce.
Oh, I like that. You should pitch
Gladiator sauce.
Yeah,
and
I'd buy it.
Sales of that, I don't know.
Make you consistently good, but never hit GM.
Toronto, we'll touch on them very briefly. Finally playing at the level that everyone expected these guys to play
don't
at.
say that.
Well,
Don't say that.
look, when they were announced, no one was expecting great things from Toronto, and then they won their first match, and they played quite well in stage 1, made the playoffs, and then it's just been a steady trickle downhill ever since.
Yeah, starting off with that core roster, we had, you know, before people like Asher and such retired, before they picked up I'm37, the speedrunner galore, right? We were optimistic. We saw them 5-2 in stage 1, and everyone's really excited, like, oh, it's another full Korean team. We shouldn't have doubted them.
Yeah.
We started losing some Korean members due to burnout, picked up some other people going mixed of all things, and yeah, it looks like we've gone a few steps backward because just in terms of preparation and stuff, and have to do a lot of recuperating. And as much as it pains me to say this as someone born and raised in Toronto, I don't think it's likely whatsoever that we're going to be a part of this stage playoff.
No, and maybe not even season playoffs.
Well, don't say that.
Point.
There's a chance still.
They could maybe make top 12. What about Boston? Are we going to see these guys in those final 12 at the end of the season? They're like, again, middle of the pack team. Not doing so hot, lost to Houston, almost defeated Philadelphia, but ultimately didn't. What's hurting these guys?
I think, again, an identity crisis. Boston traded Note to Dallas Fuel, their Diva one trick. Well, Note is not a one trick. He's actually very flexible, but Diva's his best character, and he's playing Diva for like 99% of his total time with Boston. To pick up RCK, who is an amazing Diva, but also can sprinkle in a hint of Sombra and such.
Yeah.
You know, that makes sense, and a lot of people assume that they'd be playing a better Sombra Goats-oriented style to kind of force these mistakes and really get away with a more aggressive tendency. And we saw glimpses of that when they first picked him up, but now Dallas Fuel with No actually puts him with Sombra, and they've been having arguably more success, or about the same amount of success as Boston after the trade. So Note wasn't the problem, evidently. It seems to me like the team overall at like a top wide structural managerial level doesn't know exactly what they want to do with the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about a team where there's one player, and I hate doing this. I don't like calling out one player, but I've seen the clips, and it's Yanu for the Washington Justice.
Yeah.
He is just not paying off in a big way, making mistakes that I would feel embarrassed about making. And I am a platinum level player. So.
Yikes. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about Jonas and Washington Justice. When Washington Justice first came around, people knew that okay, looking at this roster, we don't have a lot of big names, and you know, there've been rumors going around with low budgets and kind of mismanagement even.
Well, wasn't Wizards' whole thing like, oh, we're gonna moneyball this team
exactly,
and use the low budget players and
right. That, you know, it doesn't matter what budget you throw at me. I am your typical genius. I can make this happen no matter what players you throw at me because, you know, I have the data, I have the strats, I got the secret formula.
Right.
And it seems like Wizards a bit of a sham because his players are doing things that, again, platinum players might not even do. Missing classic jumps, you know, dropping your shields at the wrong time, just being totally off in nowhere's land by yourself. And when you ask me, you know, what's going wrong with Washington Justice, the answer is everything. The answer is absolutely everything because from, you know, a managerial level, they look like they're a mess. From a player standpoint, you know, these guys aren't as talented as a lot of superstars in the league. And you look at their trajectory and it doesn't look like they've done anything to salvage that, right? No new coaches, no massive superstar players coming into that lineup, no new strategies even. They're content to play GOATs poorly with poor players and poor management. And these guys, there might be only one team as bad as they are right now, and that might be Florida Mayhem. And you don't ever want to be compared to the standings with Florida Mayhem.
No, yeah, you want to avoid that comparison at all costs. Now let's talk about some teams that you know, are moving up. Obviously, we've already touched on Dallas, but Chengdu versus Dallas. Chengdu, such a fun team to watch. I think we're both big fans of theirs just for the enjoyment of watching their games. Are these guys potentially contenders for reaching, you know, end of season playoffs?
I think they'll definitely get some sort of superlative for most creative or most fun team to watch.
Yes.
Right? They whipped out the Ashe this weekend, and we haven't seen Ashe at all in the Overwatch League pretty much. She's just pretty much, you know, if you need a hit scan, you pick Widow for long range. You need consistent DPS, you pick McCree or Soldier or CC for McCree even.
But it's cool to hear the crowd chanting Bob, Bob, Bob.
Yeah, it's the first we ever heard of that. It's really fun. And getting this 3-1 win over Dallas Fuel must feel good for them, especially after their rough last week. But to say that, do we see this team going to playoffs? Sure, doable. Do I think they'll succeed in playoffs? No, especially now that they've been kind of figured out. They used to be harder to scout playing DPS, but now other people are playing DPS. Ashe is kind of weird, but not all that good, and I don't think suddenly having an Ashe player on your team will make that big of a difference. Really, they're starting to get outscaled. Do you think we'll see
Blizzard do anything with Ashe to make her more viable and competitive, given how underplayed she is? I mean, obviously there are characters like Symmetra that barely get touched.
But they have a niche. Right. Ashe doesn't really seem to have that niche. Again, she fulfills the hit scan role. I see her played
a lot in you know, Platinum League games. Because
she's fun. But when you're out here trying to win, you have certain things you need your characters to do. And she doesn't have, I think, a clear-cut goal that she wants to accomplish, right? She wants to deal TPS, and she kind of has elements to deal with large groups, you know, with her Dynamite and maybe even Bob. But against GOATs, these tools aren't strong enough to destroy their group. You really need to compound it with other things to make her successful. And when you're combining several DPS together, there's just no room in like a triple or quad setup for a DPS with kind of lame mobility. She's not really fast. She doesn't have a wall climb, and that's like shotgun blast back. It's a long cooldown. It doesn't send you very far. So I would like to see maybe up her damage a bit and maybe say like, okay, well, she has Dynamite and this big Butler thing. Let's up her damage to make her more appealing in terms of raw DPS perhaps. Or up her elements of dealing with crowds.
Then maybe we'll see her getting some play.
Yeah, in some niche scenarios for sure.
Well, Sombra has been getting a whole lot more play. Percentages going way up there from 24.8% to 30.7%. Why is Sombra getting so much play? I mean, she isn't a character who like does all that much damage, but I guess it's her abilities that just make her so deadly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've been in solo queue for, you know, playing in your Platinum games, and you've had a Sombra sneak up behind you, and you know, her gun isn't much to write home about, but when she isolates you and you can't hit any of your other buttons, suddenly that's quite a tall task to handle.
It is.
Right, and imagine, you know, you're playing GOATs where none of these players, or none of these characters, I should say rather, have a lot of long-range damage to kind of scout the field and deter her. You have D.Va that could constantly shoot and kind of spy check, but good Sombras will be able to weave their way around and find themselves to you. Once D.Va's hacked, she's just a massive ball battery, right? And once the D.Va's out the way or hacked, that's a free grab. A big thing in GOATS is trying to eat the enemy grab, denying that big power play, and then pushing that momentum back through and winning and stabilizing on a point. Sombra completely denies the enemy's ability to do that. So if you're looking for a more aggressive style, and you know you're not as your diva's not as good as eating grabs, because that's honestly really hard to do consistently.
Mechanically, it's very challenging.
Yeah, it's also really mentally intensive. You have to predict when they're going to use DM, and can someone else block it with bubbles or something, right? It's much easier to hide someone away, hack at them, build your EMP, and just hit the big R button, or Q button, sorry. But playing a little bit of other games here and there. But yeah, I can see why some people say it's dishonest. It's kind of like you're not fighting man-to-man, as Super says. But if you're not as good as Titans or Shock at their own game, I don't see why you wouldn't play the Sombra right now. She's incredibly strong, and you need all the advantages you can get when you're trying to get that playoff spot.
Use all the utilities available in order to win, I say. Let's talk about a winner this week. It's time for our MVP of the second week of this third stage of Overwatch League. Who have you decided on, Renanthera?
So I think we'd be mistaken to pick anyone else but Linkser this week, and that's because Houston Outlaws has had their big return to glory. You know, Houston Outlaws fans are probably one of the most, if not the most, dedicated fans in all of the league. After Houston Outlaws, after all, they have this curse of always making it all the way to the end of the distance, 5th game, and then just kind of diving down to the bottom. They finally overcame that curse this weekend doing DPS play, so the fans were on their side. The team very visibly looked relieved to kind of see this work out. And Linkser, the reason why he's our MVP is because he whipped out Doomfist. You know, he's praised pretty much worldwide for his amazing Widow, but he's never played Doomfist before. He took that shot out and showed not only is he proficient at hit scan, he can potentially play projectile heroes and flankers and stuff to a high level as well, and that just opens up a huge playbook for Houston. If they keep Linkser on the roster and they really refine him, he's probably top 3 DPS in all of the league.
Wow.
Yeah, I really do believe that. He has a Widowmaker to rival Saya player on Florida Mayhem, who's the best Widow, and Doomfist, like that game against Shock of all people, it's not easy to pull that off against GOATs. He can very easily be bubbled or bashed off, and he played amazing in his first game. I think he has a ton of potential.
Well, that's a great pick, and just hearing that, though, that you got the best Widow player in the league on the worst team in the league, that's going to be a tough position to be in.
Yeah, rest in peace, Saya player.
We got a few more topics to touch on before we wrap things up out there. For starters, Ron, what's the deal with Revival? Tell me more about your new project here. It's very cool.
So I guess it's time to plug our team a little bit. Our team, my team. I'm the general manager of a new contenders team called Revival. And Revival, for those that don't know, is composed of the core from the Mayhem Academy that was recently disbanded.
Right.
So we have
one of the top teams in contenders.
Yes, I mean, without a doubt, we definitely hope so. Yesterday we played our first match against Second Win, and for those that do know their contenders history, Second Win was the only team that beat Mayhem Academy last year. Mayhem Academy famously breaking Fusion University's like 31 match record or something ridiculous. And now that Fusion University is out and playing in Korea, and NA's kind of left the crown up for grabs, we're looking to snatch that crown, right? We're looking to win and take it all. And on our roster, we have a lot of Overwatch League retirees and contenders veterans. We have Apply from the Florida Mayhem. We have Mangachu, who's been on the show. We got Paintbrush, who's been on the show. Rounding our support line, we have Epps to accompany him. And in our tech positions, we have iRemix, who is previously on the LA Gladiators. And we have Manitin, who is also a star on the Florida Mayhem. So we have a stacked roster.
Yeah, sounds great.
We have, you know, a winning formula with me at the helm, with our other coaches and owner.
All right, Ron.
We got Reprise.
Sounds
we got Curry
good.
Shot.
We got to
Listen,
move on.
We're gonna win. We're amazing. Keep watching us.
Let's talk about replays being added into Overwatch now. Obviously, this is something that
exciting.
people are doing with third-party apps, but it's great that we actually have them in-game available now, so that you can, when you have that game, oh, I just made that amazing play. I wasn't running my NVIDIA Shadow Capture, whatever that software is. Shadowplay, I guess, is the NVIDIA thing. Yeah. So now, can you send the replay files to other people, or do you just export it, or what?
How I understand it is when you play a game, it'll automatically record your last 10 games played.
Right, like your plays of the game.
Yeah, like your highlights or your play of the game. And, you know, obviously when a new patch comes, if you don't have it saved to your computer or export it away, you'll lose it forever. So make sure you play your game, you record it, then you save it. Then you have it. You can upload it to YouTube. People can very easily, watch it. They can enjoy it. They can get a good laugh. Or you can send it to a coach like me who will charge you to give feedback. But I need the money. Please and thank you. Times are hard. But yeah, you can get better. You can end up in a higher rank than AJ. Soar out of platinum.
That's
I'm
not
really excited.
that difficult a task, ultimately. Just for me.
You're in the top
apparently.
50% percentile, I
Great.
think.
I'm just
you're solidly
better
average.
than half. Great. Let's wrap things up with World Cup talk. The national committees have revealed the seeding for this year's World Cup, and no surprise, South Korea is number 1.
What a surprise!
But Canada's number 2.
Yes.
Why is that?
What do you mean? Why is that? We're good.
Are we?
Yeah, we're good at basketball.
Yeah, well, that's.
We're good at Overwatch too.
Were there Canadians on the Raptors though?
Let's not talk about that. Anyways, okay, so Canada has a good showing. We've got the 3rd place medal, or we got the 2nd place medal in the 2017 World Cup, and then we got the 3rd place medal in the 2018 World Cup.
Actually, yeah, we're doing pretty well.
Yeah, so I mean, we're consistently up there, just right below Korea, and I think we deserve the 2nd seed. But I think we should shout out the other teams as well that are having their committees, because there's a lot of controversy about who they are.
Well, we got China, France, US, UK, Australia, Sweden, Russia, and Finland.
Yeah, a bunch of good teams, a bunch of awesome countries that deserve to have this representation. And I think it's pretty mixed between European, Asians, and North Americans. But you know what we got to do now?
What? Wrap up the show.
We got to wrap up the show. But you were at E3 the other day.
I was.
And I wasn't here to celebrate your birthday yesterday.
But yeah, it was yesterday.
So, I mean, I know it's a little belated, but AJ, you're my favorite co-host on the show.
Oh!
And I thought it'd be a good idea to get you this cake.
You're not putting that in my face.
I mean...
Are you?
That is
looks
for
like
you to
a real
decide.
Cake. I'm gonna...
That is, yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Good?
Yeah, it's tasty.
Great. How about you wrap up the show now while I...
Okay. Oh, that's amazing. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in and lending us your eyeballs. It's gonna get on my shirt now. Tomorrow on the show, we've got a super special guest to talk all about the Smash Summit, the one, the only Axe. Tune in tomorrow to check that out. You don't want to miss it. Until then, hit the social buttons. See you later.
I was gonna say I want a piece of that cake, but I prefer my cake slices without raw germs. Just saying. Remember, we're back here starting at 1 p.m. tomorrow with gameplay live from the green room. Then again at 8 p.m. Eastern, we have more Unmuted. And in Esports in 30, Marissa and Drew are talking Smash Summit with Axe. So if you have any questions for Axe, let us know on our socials, which, by the way, has some added bonus content if you want more squad. And make sure you check out our YouTube channel for all the VODs in case you missed anything. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.